What's going on, friends? I've got here a 2012 Nissan Altima, and I'm going to use this car to show you how to access and replace your low beams, your high beams. I'll also go ahead and show you the 4 fuses for those headlights. So quickly, let's check the fuses first because they're easier to get to. You pull out on the tab here, you push in on the tab here, and this cover will come outward. Now the 4 fuses, 2 of them are 15 amp fuses. So these 2 15 amp fuses here, they are for the low beams. I'll go ahead and pull one of these fuses out so you can look and see what a good fuse looks like. You can see that the wire inside is intact, it's unbroken. So power from this fuse will go to your low beam. Now the low beam here, the one that I removed, this is for the passenger side low beam. The one above it is for the driver's side low beam. That is an H11 bulb, and it's on the outside of the headlamp assembly. So that's the low beam, that's the high beam. Now for the fuses for the high beams, they're 10 amp fuses. This one here is for the passenger side high beam. The one above it is for the driver's side high beam. So that's it for the fuses. There are relays that control these fuses. When the relays, which are built into this intelligent power distribution module, when those relays activate based on a command from your headlight switch inside the car, power is sent from the relay through the fuse to the headlight. And you can actually test to see if the relay is working by checking for voltage at the fuse. So if you look closely at the fuse, there is exposed metal. You can check to see if you have power at the exposed metal. If you do not see power, then either the relay is not working or the switch is not working properly. Now let's move on to accessing. There's really only one good way to get to the low beam, and that is through the side of the car, the fender. So it helps to remove this fender liner. There are a number of clips that hold it in. There's one here that I've removed already. There's 2 that are right here. Looking upwards, you'll find more. So remove as many as you can. And there are also 3 screws that are securing the fender liner to your bumper cover. So there's one screw here that I've removed already. There's another screw that lives right here. And then this screw is still there. I've not yet removed that one. Anyways, when you remove all of them, you can peer inside here, and we can just barely see. Here is our H11, our low beam. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to remove it. The high beam, you can just barely see, is over here, and you can actually get a good view of the high beam connector down through here. Maybe I spoke too soon when I said a good view. But anyways, that high beam connector, when my camera focuses, you can just see my fingers on it here. You'll be able to get to it. I'm gonna use this other side to show you because I'm doing all of this one-handed. Now to get to the high beam bulb on this side, grab your washer fluid reservoir, rotate it a little bit counterclockwise, and then pull up. Set it aside. There's a 10mm screw that's right here for your coolant reservoir. Lift that up. Be careful not to tilt it over or coolant might spill out. You set that aside. Now we can look and see. Here is our high beam. The high beam is an H9. You disconnect it by pulling this piece outward, and then you pull the pin down. Now inspect the pins. See if they're getting power. See if they're getting ground. On this one, the black wire gets ground. The blue yellow one is what gets power from that fuse. Check for corrosion rather. Sometimes these pins will get corroded, and that's really the underlying issue. Now to remove the bulb, you rotate it counterclockwise. And if the bulb has been in there for a while, it might be difficult to do. And I apologize for my hand blocking the view, but there's only so much I can do here. Dang, it's really on there. You may have to use some sort of pliers to get it started. Don't worry about breaking the housing. As long as you're purely rotating it counterclockwise, you're gonna be fine. Here I just had to use the needle nose. So that comes out like so. When you have your replacement bulb, it will come with a new seal. So if your old bulb leaves the seal in it like this one, be sure to pull that out. This orange piece is not supposed to stick to the housing. You see that? I just had to yank it off. That orange piece is supposed to stay with the bulb. So this low beam bulb, that's the H9 bulb. You can see this one's actually in pretty good shape. Now keep in mind, when you install your new bulb, do not touch the glass with anything. If you keep the glass clean, then your bulb will last longer. When you reinstall it, it goes in a little crooked. You line it up and then you rotate it clockwise about 45 degrees and it should snap back into position. And then don't forget to connect the connector. You can put dielectric grease on the connector to help it last longer, but that's your high beam. Let's take a gander at your low beam. This fender liner I've removed pretty much most of the way. Make it easier. Let's look in here. Here is our low beam. Again, same procedure. Rotate it counterclockwise, and then sometimes you have to wiggle it a little bit. You know, these get real hot when they're working and they kind of bake themselves in to the housing. So don't be discouraged if it doesn't want to just pop out smooth. Here's the connector again. There we go. So this one came out with the seal. But yeah, same procedure for reinstalling it. It goes in at an angle and then you lock it in place. Dielectric grease on the connector for best longevity, and that's that. Anyways, I hope that this was useful for you. Please do let me know down below if you have any questions or any advice about replacing your low beams or your high beams on your Nissan Altima.